Hello everybody, and welcome to a special video where me and my dad talk about the 2018 Super Bowl 53 between the New England Patriots and the Los Angeles Rams. The Patriots are favored by 2.5 in this game. The Patriots, up until 2001, were one of the most crappiest teams ever. And they had made it to 2 Super Bowls, but they were blasted both times. They drafted Tom Brady 199th overall in the 6th round. No one expected him to be great. He was an average player in college. And then his career took off. In 2001, this is the big reason. 2001, Mo Lewis knocked the crap out of Drew Bledsoe, and he severed a broken blood vessel in his chest, which causes him to miss some time. That's when Brady stepped in and took the Patriots to the Super Bowl when no one expected them. They actually started 1-3 at the beginning of the season. 0-2. Then went there. During that season, they actually played the Rams in week
I don't know
10?
what week it was because I went to the game.
My dad actually went to the game. It was a nice game because my dad said he liked Kurt Warner. It was a very good game, actually. Even though the Patriots did lose, they held the Rams to only 24 points when they scored well over 500 points. Then, going back to the Super Bowl, the Rams were 14.5 favorites going into the game. The Patriots stunned them into a 20-17 victory with an out-of-Vinatieri field goal at the last second. Since then, the Patriots have been to 8 Super Bowls, and the Rams have not made it to the Super Bowl since 2001. Even so, they hadn't made it to the playoffs since 2004 up until last year. And now they've made it with back-to-back division titles. Most of the reason is because they have Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, and a pretty good receiving core. Jared Goff is out of his 3rd year in Cal. He's proved to be one of the most elite quarterbacks in the league. Todd Gurley also proved to be one of the most elite running backs in the league too, rushing for his 2nd straight 1,000-yard season, and putting up, I believe, 16 rushing touchdowns. And another thing, they have former Patriot former Patriot Brandon Cooks, who was on the Super Bowl last year against the Eagles, and they didn't end up winning. So then, that's that. And they have a very good young defense in Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh, who could maybe put pressure on Brady into maybe him throwing an interception or sacking him a couple times. Now let's go to the Patriots. Brady and Belichick are in their 19th year. Think about it. They've been together 19 years. What coaches and quarterback have been in the league tandems have been that long? Think about it. All the changes in the NFL. Brady, Belichick, Dolphins, so many changes. Bills, everyone in the league. So like I said, Brady has been to 9 Super Bowls in about 18 years. So practically every other year they're in the Super Bowl. They have a good running back in Sony Michel, who actually was drafted in the 1st round and was actually Todd Gurley's backup in 2015 as a freshman. He rushed for 900 yards and 7 touchdowns, and it actually proved to be a very good important piece in the playoffs when he rushed for 2 straight 100-yard games. Then they have James White, who's a very good pass catcher and caught a career-high 87 receptions. Then you have Julian Edelman, whose beard, in my opinion, I think is not the greatest. He looks funny.
Yeah, that's be nice.
Even though he may be not the greatest person.
The beard has nothing to do with the person. That's fashion.
He is a great... What? Fashion?
He's a great wide receiver.
What do you mean fashion?
He's a great fashion statement with the beard. That's how you look.
Oh, fashion. I thought you said fascist.
No, I would say that. Okay, continue on.
Okay. Then they don't have the greatest receiving core, but they still have Rob Gronkowski, who is actually considering retirement at the end of the season, at the end of this game. But I don't think Brady's going to retire either. Brady's probably going to play till he's 45. So, alright, here's my score prediction. The Los Angeles Rams, 35. The New England Patriots, 34.
35-34. They're going to get a block extra point?
No, not 35-34. 35 to 28.
Okay, so they win by a touchdown. All right, thank you, Matthew.
Now it's time for Dad.
It's time for Dad. Okay, let's see how Dad does.
Talk about your history with the Patriots.
What's my history? Oh, my history goes back to the Patriots from the late 70s into the early 80s when they had a couple of good seasons, but they were bad. They played at They played in Schaefer Stadium back then, And if you did not sell out 36 hours prior to game time, the game would get blacked out. So you would have to see Miami versus Buffalo or whatever. You would not get the Patriots game, which is kind of sad at that time. Even in 1985, when I went the last game of the year, they needed to win to make the playoffs against the Bengals, which I went with my dad. They did not sell out, so the game was not on, which was pretty horrible at the time. But anyways, getting up to more current. I remember in 2000 when they picked Brady, I was like, okay, 6th round pick. You never know what guys are going to do. Mo Lewis hurt Bledsoe when he was running over the middle, and Bledsoe never runs, and he decided to run, and he destroyed. Brady came in, he did okay in that game, they still lost, but he played unbelievable. I remember him beating the Colts in one of those games that year where they usually didn't beat the Colts with Peyton Manning, and they did pretty easily. But they were amazing. They made it to the Super Bowl. Adam Vinatieri made that kick. The drive was clutched by Brady at the time, and that was the start of the dynasty. And every year since that season on, except for 2008, when they did go 11-5, they've been to the playoffs. They've been to the Super Bowls 9 times. They've probably been to at least 12 AFC Championship games. It's unbelievable. Last week, they proved me wrong. I didn't expect them to win. They got a little lucky when D Ford jumped offside at the end of the game when they were looking for a touchdown to tie it. And was it a touchdown? I don't remember.
Touchdown.
That was a touchdown, okay. And Brady kept hitting Edelman on third down, Gronk on third down. He was so clutch. I think it was one of his best games of his career, considering the environment Casey's had to win in, and the clutchness, AFC Championship game against a very good team. Now on to this year's game. I think the Rams pose a lot of challenges. Jared Goff had a good season. He threw 32 touchdown passes. He has 2 wide receivers, Robert Woods and Brandon Cooks, who both caught over 70 passes, and I think one of them at least must have caught 10 touchdown passes at least. Cooks caught 10 touchdown passes. That's what I thought. And they can run the ball with Todd Gurley, who had, like Matthew said, 16 touchdowns, and led by the coach Sean McVay, who really has done a good job with this team because they were pitiful a few years ago when they had Jeff Fisher. There's another running back who used to play for the Broncos, who I know very well, C.J. Anderson, who always tried his best with the Broncos. He was decent. He wasn't always awesome, but he was clutch at times. And since he's played for the Rams, he's averaged like 120 yards per game when he's played, which is unbelievable for a backup guy to be that good. 6 yards per carry. On defense, they have Aaron Donald, who is outstanding.
Won a second defensive player of the year.
Dominican Sue, who I think is a dirty piece of garbage, but he's a good player. Aqib Talib, who's from the Broncos as well. Good job, Broncos. And Eric Berry?
Marcus Peters,
Eric Berry's friend from the Chiefs. Marcus Peters, who didn't have a good season, but he's a talented guy nonetheless. On offense for the Patriots, obviously Brady, one of the best quarterback of all time, period. All the wins, lifetime record at home's like 112 and like 17. It's ridiculous.
His home record's 112 and 17?
It's something like that. It's unbelievable. Yes, I looked it up before. It's unreal.
What's his road record?
I don't know. It's probably get like 30 losses on the road, which is still not a lot. He has like 90 wins, I'd say. But also you have the running backs and James White, who caught a lot of passes out of the backfield. He did very well this year, like he always does. He doesn't run for a lot of yards, but he's like that scat back who it used to be Kevin Faw for the Patriots back in the day. And also Sony Michel did a great job. He has 200-yard games in the playoffs. And I think they can run on the Rams. The Rams defense up the middle. I know they have great tackles and all that, but they struggled this year with the run. And that could be a problem for them in this game. And when you have a team running the ball on one side, the play actions opens up. He does have Gronk, and Gronk wasn't the greatest this year, but he's still Gronk with his big body. He does have Edelman, who's a very talented receiver, who makes a lot of clutch catches, second all-time in the playoffs. And he also has Chris Hogan, who's a decent third receiver, who I think he caught about 50 passes this year. Philip Dorsett, who came in once Josh Gordon got suspended. Philip Dorsett caught about 40 passes, and he's a long drive. He caught a nice touchdown pass on the left side of the end zone last week.
He was actually a first-round pick by the Colts, actually, and then he didn't prove to be anything on the Colts. But
he's done well with the Pats. He really has.
Did you ever notice that a lot of players who go to the Pats become good?
Yes, because they're good. Okay, now on defense, Pats had Kyle Van Noy. Is that his first name? Okay. I never forget. I know it's Van Noy. It was an interesting name, which is pretty cool.
Lawrence Guy.
Got 2 sacks last week, and he's played very well for them in the playoffs. Hightower, who's a good linebacker. He seems like he slowed down a little bit this year, but he's still very talented. Stephon Gilmore is an excellent cornerback. He made All-Pro this year. They got him up last year from Buffalo, and people thought it was a mistake. And
2 years ago.
2 years ago, and absolutely was not a mistake. And I don't know.
Trey Flowers is the
Trey
big one.
Flowers, decent player as well. All right, and with all that information, when you guys are all spinning like this, probably looking at all that, saying, John, talking too much about everything. Yeah, I'm trying to give you some information. Trying to base things in fact, not just guessing. But because Brady's going for a 6th string, I think he's clutch. I think the Rams are susceptible to the run. I just think it's in the cards for Brady. After what happened last week to beat Casey, I think they're going to win this game 31-28. I think it'll be close. I think people will enjoy the game. And hopefully you get to eat your Doritos. Thank you very much for watching.
This video is not sponsored by the NFL, Doritos, Coca-Cola or Pepsi, and Atlanta.
They don't have Coca-Cola.